Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate every single one of you. I see you all in the chat. I see Basic Trig. I see Clive Wells, Zebulon 181. I beg your pardon. There goes my dyslexia. Who else? We see Mr. Fitri, Mr. Andra. Thank you all so much for joining. I really do appreciate all of you. And welcome again back to my channel. How is everyone? How is everyone's weekend so far? Or if your weekend has just started, how is it going? So today we have Bellacharge with us. Yes, I understand he's not a creator, and that's okay. It's my channel. I can have whoever I want on the channel. So how are you, Bella? How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you this morning there, Roxy?
I'm doing good this evening. Thank you. You've fun the future with us. How is the future?
I'll let you know when the world ends so you can get in a bit of a party for the last bit of it.
Oh, you're a true friend. You're a true trooper. Give us the heads up. It's awesome. Oh my goodness. Hi Jane, how are you doing? Glad to see you in the chat. Oh my goodness. So today we're going to have an interesting conversation. I hope the questions are not as difficult to answer as they were last time. I mean, the last episode, it was just, for me, ridiculous. And Basic Trigonometry, thank you for the $2.75. I do appreciate it very much. I saw the message come through. I'm like, I haven't even started my show and people are already donating. That's amazing. I appreciate it so much. This money is going towards buying a new camera for myself. The one that I've got is good, but if I turn down the lighting behind me when I stream, everything becomes a bit blurry and blocky. So I am saving up. I don't mind saving up. It feels like I've achieved something when you save up to buy something instead of just someone giving you a lump sum and say, here, go buy something. You feel like you've worked hard for it. It's like when you work normally, your salary, you've worked hard for that salary, and it's like you're saving up during the month, and when you finally get your salary, it's like, oh, here's money for you to go and buy something. That's how it feels to me, at least. I'm going on a rampage. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said
That's
sorry.
Never apologize.
I know Clive Wells keeps telling me that. Never apologize, but I can't help it. Shane Spencer, thanks to see you in the chat. It's good to see you. All right, shall we get this going?
Yes, let's get this going and see how kind your people have been to my questions.
Oh, yeah, let's see how kind they've been to me as well. All right. Let's see. Unhide. Hello? There we go. Okay. Question 1 is, if every neuron in a human was accurately simulated in a computer, would it result in human consciousness? Should I read that again?
No, I understand the question. Maybe you can for the chat. I understood what you said.
Okay, so question chat is, if every neuron in a human was accurately simulated in a computer, would it result in human consciousness? That's interesting. That is interesting. Because, I mean, if you look at science movies, they've also thought about it. I think it's just a theory at the moment. An actual theory is that uploading your memories and such to the computer, or and your thoughts to a computer. But now would that computer gain your consciousness or your thought processes?
Depends on how much you put life experience into account of how much of it's human. Because I mean, look at the likes of YouTube and Instagram and all the social media that we got these days. That's essentially what people are doing, uploading their thoughts to the internet. Does that make the internet a sentient being? No. But that's also because it's not capable of AI.
But yet again, they're talking about neurons, not pictures.
Yeah,
not words.
yeah. They're essentially asking if you could simulate a human being, would it be a human being?
I
And
suppose.
that's essentially what AI is. Now, does it require all the human neutrons to do it? No. But is that classed as a human being because it doesn't really have life experiences like we do? I mean, if you fall over and hurt your knee, you feel pain. An AI is not going to.
So they won't really be human as in terms of feelings and such.
No. But
They will
is it?
just have a conscience, as in they're able to do things that a human would do. But I don't think they'll be able to consciously make decisions based on feelings.
No, they'll be making decisions based on deductive reasoning, essentially. That they'll be able to factor other things that we can't factor in at the time because our emotions get in the way.
Yes. Well, I mean, if you, I know this is just a movie, but if you look at Iron Man, Age of Ultron, I mean,
Yeah.
the Ultron was making decisions based on what he has seen on the internet, you know,
Yeah.
and he thought that the human race were just a bunch of insects that, you know, and we needed to clear the planet. Well, that's how I understood the movie, at least.
Yeah.
And
Ironically, carry on.
So,
Ironically, a lot.
I think there's a lag, guys. I'm sorry. It's a bit of a lag. Yes,
There you go,
carry
Roxy.
on.
Okay. Ironically, a lot of movies seem to think the same thing. Look at The Matrix. If you compare the human race to anything, we are not helping this planet. We are definitely not helping this planet with the damage that we cause to it as a factor in the planet's survivability.
Yeah, I agree that we are not good for this planet and we don't deserve this planet anymore. I can definitely agree to that. And oh, look, if sentient beings did come and they did wipe us out, we deserved it. I really think that we deserved it.
Yeah, if they've made a trip all the way here and seen us, it's not going to end well for us. I mean, you look at every technologically advanced civilization that's gone and invaded somewhere else just on our globe. They've always gone and sort of wiped out the locals.
That is true. That is true, and it's but sometimes the locals do win though, but it also just depends on where they are technologically.
Yeah, but I mean, if someone's made a trip across the void of space and found us, it's not going to end well for us.
No, it's not.
You're talking mass levels of technological levels ahead of where we are at that stage.
Yeah. No, I get it. Hashtag kill all humans. I should actually be keeping up with the chat a bit more. But I mean, if we give them every neuron, but that would include feelings, wouldn't it?
Yes, but like I said, the feelings they wouldn't base their reasoning on their feelings alone, because computers are just better at number crunching than we are.
I suppose, but I mean,
feelings of anger and all that, do they come from? I mean, I don't really know where anger comes from, but it's not really anything based in the human body. There's nothing in the human body that makes us angry. There's nothing in the human body that makes us sad.
No, those are all feelings and life experiences that will affect our feelings. I mean, we're going to stub our toe. We're going to swear everybody's mother, and then start crying if depending how sore it is. You know. Yep. So I mean that's based on feelings, based on what we've done to our body. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe for me, if you look at Ultron himself, he was angry. He was still I still think he was basing everything off anger. Because he was angry at about what humans were doing, that we weren't worth it. I mean, for
Exactly.
him
So,
for him to want to destroy the planet or humans, that had to be coming from anger because of what he saw on the internet.
No logical reasoning would state that if you left humanity here, we would destroy ourselves anyway. And take the planet out with us. Whereas if he took us out first, the planet would be saved.
But that still came from anger. All of that still came from anger.
I don't know. More of a logical deduction. If you take out the humans first, they're not going to destroy the planet, which would allow everything else to grow. Basically, do a restart.
Yes, but then would it not eventually get to a point like the Matrix where the machines ran everything and everything just died anyway? Because machines are not natural, so they're not a natural material, so they're not going to decay if it stops breaking. If something breaks and they can't fix themselves, or another machine can't fix that machine, they're just going to be tossed into a pile.
Not necessarily. Humans are really bad at recycling. I mean, we like to pretend we are, and all governments have recycling in fact, whereas mechanical components, basically, they're infinitesimally recyclable. You just melt it down and create your next one. And they also wouldn't populate for shits and giggles like people do. They wouldn't create a new robot unless they actually needed it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, creating a new human apparently is fun. It's unfortunately fun to create a new human. But yeah, I think logically, yes, I agree with you. A robot will only create if needed and will melt down what they can't use and reuse like we don't do. But how much of nature do you think they will preserve, though?
It depends on, again, it would depend on their logical reasoning. If set thing was going to damage the ecosystem in such a way like humans have, they would most likely eliminate it.
Probably.
As humans do, I mean, we like to move into an area and we go, oh, cool, this is my land now. Okay, elephants, get out of here. Okay, tigers, get out of here.
And you see, that's not good either. I know that humans, at least try to preserve the animal race or the animals.
We like to pretend that we do.
We do. Well, if you look at reserves and such, I mean, some animals have come back from the brink of extinction.
Yes. However, they were only put there because we moved in and kicked them all out first. And then someone goes, hang on, this isn't such a good idea, people.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, I mean, if we did give a robot or a computer, all of your thoughts, all of your feelings, all of your everything that your mind processes, I think it will have a conscience.
Yes, I mean AI is definitely it does. I deem it as it possesses a conscience as such. Now, is it the same as ours? Definitely not. Does it act on the same deductive reasoning that we do? No, because it takes a lot of things into factors because that's how it's designed to work. And I've just got to answer a question from the chat here. Jessica G, yes, all kittens are evil.
Okay, off my stream.
Kittens especially.
Off my stream. I've got my two cats are here sleeping like freaking angels.
Exactly. Cats fine. Kittens, oof, you're sitting there just moving your foot, then all of a sudden it becomes their next toy.
But this is why we love them.
Or you're trying to sleep and they decide, no, now's your time to wake up, and they just come and dance on your face.
I've never had that problem, luckily. Both my cats are too sassy for that. They'd rather play with my feet that are moving while I'm trying to get comfortable.
And if you're not comfortable when they are, God help you if you move.
Oh no, my one cat, luckily he moves with me, so that's fine. The other one, however, she just jumps off and finds another spot to goes and finds another spot to sleep. So
Oh, you're lucky.
I think
my cat digs its claws in if I start moving.
Oh goodness, yeah. All right, I think if there's anything more from the chat, I think we did have some people saying some things. Let's find them. Also,
Dr.
I just
Clive
want.
Wells posted one. You couldn't copy the quantum state, not cloning theorem.
So it's not clone. I mean, it won't. It will be okay. So I see. Okay, so we're not. You can't clone.
No. So he's saying basically you couldn't copy the quantum state.
Okay. Thanks, Clive. As always, coming up with your scientific methods, your scientific reasoning.
They give me a relatively easy question, and Clive Wells just has to stomp all over that and make it a little bit harder for me to answer. Thanks, Clive.
This is why we love having Clive Wells in the chat. So Marius, welcome, Marius. Good to see you again. He says chemical composition certainly plays a role, just like any other mental condition, like oh my goodness. Why can't I read this word this evening? Psychosis and schizophrenia. So I think the mental issues won't be able to transfer over. Imagine a robot having schizophrenia.
I'm sure my computer does. Some days it wants to go, some days it doesn't.
Oh my goodness gracious, this is funny.
You can't tell me your computer's never had a hissy fit. All you have to do is turn it off and turn it back on again and it works fine.
No, mine has ADD. Or sometimes ADHD. Oh my goodness. No, I look, I think the mental condition, I think, is a completely different story. I really think it's a completely different story. But yeah, the imbalance can cause these kind of things. Yeah. I don't think it'll be easy to put these kind of things into a computer. I think the human mind is just too complicated to actually copy directly. So in other words, no, we won't be able to clone over our thoughts like you can with a hard drive. You cannot clone. You can't even properly clone a hard drive either. You still have to go and reinstall all the programs that were on that drive. So
yeah, but AI is also getting very, very advanced these days.
Well, tell that to me when I can actually clone my hard drive properly without even having to reinstall my programs. I get that Google is listening. I get that Siri is listening. I get that Alexis is listening. I get that, and they're freaking clever and also sassy. But which is amazing.
Don't forget about the YouTube algorithm god.
Oh, that one too. But sometimes he also has schizophrenia or ADHD.
He definitely does.
He doesn't know whether he's coming or going sometimes. But I think that in terms of cloning like that is not possible. A computer will never, ever be like a human.
No, and I think we can definitely agree upon that, because your life experience is something that a computer, even a simulated human life, and a computer cannot produce the same outcomes.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can create. I mean, in the future, they could probably create a synthetic version of yourself, but that self will never be exactly like you, because they never went through the things that you went through, the feelings you went through. The experiences you had. It would just be a dead version of yourself.
Not necessarily a dead version. I mean, if they perfectly clone you, it's going to be a new living version of yourself, but its thought process is going to be completely different.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I mean by dead is, I mean, no feelings at all.
It very well could have feelings. I mean, here in New Zealand, we successfully cloned a sheep. The sheep was alive. I believe it probably went to slaughter and got turned into lamb chops. Good old family roast or something. But it was living and it had its own life. However, would its life be the original as the host? No, as the original.
Well, then if you want to go through that thing, go through it that way. What about a worm turning into a butterfly?
Again, it'll be different.
But that's a completely different thing. This is now going completely off topic. But
yeah, we're now talking cloning, not uploading your having a computer simulated life.
Well, I mean, Mr. Victory has it right. Creating a new human, interesting. Oh, you mean playing The Sims? My Sims have feelings and they're computer generated. My Sims get angry. Yes, they get angry, they get sad, they get happy, they get flirty, they get scared.
Yes, but it's also programmed into them.
Yeah, so if you program a computer with all the neurons going in from your mind, they will eventually be able to feel feelings if they're programmed to feel feelings. But then it's got to be programmed to what scares them, what makes them happy, what makes them flirty.
That also comes into this into the whole theory that we could all be living in a giant simulator.
Oh, the simulation theory, that's a fun one.
Yes.
But that's
how do we know we're not there? Because they could have programmed in what would tell us that we're not there.
Sometimes I think we are the Sims and I'm just playing the Sims. You know, and that's quite interesting because even in my game, they play their game. They play the Sims as well.
Yep.
And I mean, when I play the Sims, people like, you know, it's what is the Sims? Well, it's you're controlling people. You're controlling little beings, human beings. And, you know, it's basically you playing God is what you're doing.
Yep.
You could leave them. They do have autonomy. So, you know, they are able to make up their own minds and do what they need to do to survive. It's basically going into survival mode. Whether it works or not is the question, because sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You know, sometimes you come back like an hour later because you forgot to press pause and your sim has died because they set fire to something, or they forgot to eat.
Mr. Victory's question is a good one. Would a synthetic version of yourself, would it be bound to your experiences or program with not able to have their own? That's the argument we got into before. That's the argument we got into before. Yes, you could program it to have your experiences, but after you've uploaded your experience up to that point, is that sentient? Would it make the same responses and have the same actions that you do? No, I don't think it would. You could put it in its own three-dimensional world with all the same people and whatnot from your life, and it could end up being completely different to how your life plays out.
I mean, even if it was a possibility to clone directly down to the atom, you know, I think that person, that clone, will probably make different decisions to you, because they may analyze things differently because they're an AI. They started off as AI because it's a computer first of all. They will analyze things differently, and make different decisions to what you would have.
Yeah, I mean, we actually have a real life example you could use: identical twins. They don't live exactly the same lives.
No, not even. I mean, I have twins next door to me, and even they don't. Even though they obviously together all the time, they're like, you know, they're like Siamese twins. They're always together, always doing everything together. But even they don't live the same life. You know?
Yeah.
One will bump his nose one day, the next day, the other one will break his arm. You know?
Yeah.
So it's different lives, even though they have almost exactly the same genetics. Right down to the atom.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell them apart. Their parents can, and they have been living next door to me for 3 years now. I still can't tell them apart. You know, so I just don't want to miss anybody's questions and comments here. Jessica, it's good to see you. Who else has popped in? Carl, you're not late. You're at least you're here. It's actually rather late than never. Let's put it that way. Who else? I see Dums Jeza. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate that very, very much. Clone is an exact replica. Yes, of course it is. But I mean, Siamese twins are not clones of each other, though. Or am I taking that out of context? I'm trying not to miss anybody's. I'm bad with the chat today. I'm sorry, guys.
And Jessica G, to answer your question, yes, it's fulfilling my community service. I have another 400 hours left to go. So that's at least 3 live streams with Team Skeptic.
Oh my goodness. Well, us being, if we go to his chat, that's also community service. So
yeah, but I mean, I'm in just about every chat. So I'm usually lurking there somewhere. If I'm not participating in the chat, I'll be lurking there while I'm listening at work, because they all like to stream while I'm at work.
And they like to stream when I'm sleeping, so screw everybody. All right, okay. So I think the last one we'll go with is Mr. Victory. He says, in that case, what is experience? Is it just what has happened to someone, or is it how that event affects you emotionally?
Very much so, how it affects you emotionally. That's why people react in different ways for every circumstance, because of their previous experiences. It dictates how they would act upon further circumstances.
Exactly. So, for instance, you put a cat in front of myself and Bella, we're both going to react differently to the cat. I'm going to go and cuddle it and try and eat it alive, while he's going to look at it and go, ew, and walk away. You know, not really eat it. I promise I don't eat cats. Gross. But, you know, it's just...
first.
But, you know, I think, yeah, I agree. It's all got to do with emotional experiences and on how we react to things. So, you know, if, for instance, if I'm talking to someone and I'm angry, and they ask me a question, I'm going to answer that question. I'm probably going to answer that question differently to how I would answer it when I'm calm. Or am I the only one that thinks like that? Hello, Bella.
No, I'm just sorry. I'm just reading the side chat there. No, I definitely agree that yeah, it's the human construct is very complex, and I mean, yes, a computer can do it, but they're going to answer for more number crunching, because that's what computers do. They just sit there and crunch numbers. So you might find that 3 out of 4 simulated computers would react in the same manner, but no human is going to react the same.
No. Hey, Godless Comer, good to see you. Good to see you. And welcome to the chat. I think I've seen you maybe once, but that's fine. I'm glad that you're here now. That's what's important. You know, look, I mean, like you say, each computer is going to, you know, find a result for whatever you've typed in. They're all going to find the same result. just depending on the computer, depending on the time it takes to do it. Whereas a human being, you give you and I something, we're both going to come up with something different. Especially if you say, for instance, a school project on, whatever, we're both going to come up with something different for that project. It's not going to be the same.
I don't know. I might just copy yours. It's okay.
No cheating in school. Stay cool. Stay in school, kids. Study hard. All right. Okay, let's see what else is coming on to the chat, and then we can maybe move on. Mario says, growing up from scratch with the same base has a tendency to have things changed. Cloned is the exact same state will give the same result. Yeah, that's exactly what we were just speaking about. Yeah, I think the same. Dum says the same programmed AI will behave differently depending on its training data. Yeah, so if you have the exact same computers with different processing speed, it would come up with the same results. It will take different time to do it. So
I think what he's referring to there is AI run on. So you can say simulate a good one for this is actually a video that was posted on it, where the person had a car driving around a racetrack, and so this thing done it itself 100,000 times. So that was its learning data, but every one of those 100,000 times had a yes/no value. Did I get further? Yes, no. Then it would remember its training data from the previous. So depending on the amount of training data it had prior to it, did that car complete a lap of that racetrack? So the one with the more training data that was inputted, because it had run its own probabilities more times, was more successful to get around that track.
Okay, I understand now. Okay, so it was my misunderstanding now. All right. Okay, thank you so much. Interesting. Okay. Shall we carry on to the next one? I think so. I think we've spoken that one enough. Let's move on. Question 2. Question 2 says, how conscious do you think animals are? So I'm guessing these questions are about the consciousness.
Well, I think animals are very conscious. I mean, there's definitely no doubt that they're conscious human being. I mean, even insects and everything, they have a conscious. Now, are they sentient life forms? No. They are acting purely on animal instinct.
And survival.
Yes.
There's not many. I don't think there's any animal that doesn't act on survival only. I mean, that goes above and beyond survival, like a human does. And unless I'm mistaken.
Well, you've got the ape family. I mean, a lot of ape family, the social constructs that are built into them is very different to, say, the social constructs of a beehive.
Yeah, but isn't that still survival, though?
No, not necessarily.
Oh, social constructs. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the social constructs of like an ape is very different to the social constructs of a bee.
Yes. Well, I mean, a bee, all that, I mean, yeah, a bee is very different.
Yes, apes have learnt that in social circumstances, they can progress a lot further, whereas like your worker bees and that, they are just go, come back, go, come back, go, come back.
They don't have a social life, in other words.
No, whereas apes kind of do. They will socialize with younger ones with older ones, and especially putting the younger ones together and whatnot. Now, yes, you could say that is for survivability, but then it's the same as humans.
Yeah, but do we socialize to survive, though?
Yes. That's the only reason we've got so far, is because we learned to be social people.
Tell that to an introvert.
Well,
that has to socialize to survive.
yes, but now if you take away all their amenities, that the fact that humans have been social for so long, are they going to survive? You take away his phone, his internet, take away his house, and you say, here's a stick, go survive.
So are
What's
you
more
telling me
likely to
that
survive? A group of people, or an individual?
So are you telling me that I have to go and find a mate the old-fashioned way? Go out and go somewhere to go and find a mate?
No, you don't have to anymore, because we've made it so we don't have to do that anymore.
No,
We
I'm
can
saying if you
socialize
take all
as
of
we
that
are right
away.
now.
No, I'm saying if you take that all away.
Yes.
If you take all of that away, if you take away Tinder, Grindr, the internet, everything, if you take away the internet, a person has to go out to a bar or a pub,
Yeah.
and go and find a mate for themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, like I did. I did
Yeah,
go
the
out and go find my mate. I didn't
the
find him on the
audacity of
internet.
people.
I'm old school. I did it the old-fashioned way, and we're still together 3 years later. You know,
Yeah.
I actually find the idea of finding someone online, and this is no offense to anybody that does do it. Don't get me wrong. If this is how you want to do it, do it. If that works for you, for me, I find it a lazy way, but for some people it works because they suffer from social anxiety and so on and so forth. So finding someone on Tinder or on some other dating website, it works for them, and that's great. Some people have have been married for years after finding each other on Tinder and such. So if it works for you, it works for you. But for me, I prefer to go out and find my mate, like I did. I found my fiance at a pool hall, of all places, and
Did you snake him in a game of pool? You
no,
got a
I
bit of a
kicked
pool
over his
shark
beer
there,
and I bought
Roxy.
him. No, I kicked over his beer and I bought him a new one. I accidentally kicked over his beer, but it's okay. So yeah, I don't know. I think that we went right off there, but I mean, even in the animal kingdom, they just besides the dolphin and humans, socializing is just to find a new mate or stay close to one another, like lions as well. They need to be close together and look after each other as their social construct to survive.
Yes.
It's the same with all cat species. Dog species are the same.
I don't know. My cat doesn't like anyone.
Well, my
He's the
cats
introvert
don't
of the
like each
cat
other.
spirit.
My cats don't even like each other. Well, she doesn't like him, but I mean, she's an alpha female and she's scared that he takes over her spot. So that's probably where it comes from. But yeah, I think that animals to an extent are conscious. They're just not as conscious as we are in terms of, we know how to survive. That's on the back burner for us. We want to do other things for ourselves, like having YouTube channel, like studying, like going out and playing pool, speeding, driving cars, shopping for things that are not survival based. It's sometimes I wish life was. I know an animal's life can't be easy. Believe me, I know. I'm not taking that away from the animal kingdom, but I wish our life was as simple. I mean, technology and all of that, yes, as much as that makes it easy for us, but doesn't make it less conscious. It's less complicated. I think technology makes everything so much more complicated. Because sometimes I've gone through this, or I'm going through this, and sometimes I can't differentiate between the internet and my real life. I literally have to make a conscious decision to say, right, I'm getting off the internet now. I'm going to go spend time with my friends. Or I wake up in the morning and make a conscious decision. I'm not getting on the internet today, or I'm not getting on my computer today. I'm going to go and spend time with my friends. You know,
But does that act alone there make you conscious? I mean, animals don't have that same responsibility, but I
that's what
don't
I'm
think
saying.
that makes them. That doesn't make them any less conscious than us.
No, I'm talking about the complexity.
Yeah.
Of it. Having all of these technological advances just makes life a lot more complex. I feel it makes life more complex.
Carl Edward brings up a good point. How do we define self-awareness? Which is probably a factor in consciousness.
But yeah, that is, yeah. I think self-awareness is when, for me, how do I put this now? I think there is, I mean, I think there's maybe two definitions of self-awareness. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm self-aware where in my mind, me being self-aware is that I live next to someone, therefore I'm not going to play my music loud. I'm not going to have my TV going full blast. At 10 o'clock, I'm going to turn off the loud music and play softly. That is a self-awareness to me. That is a type of self-awareness to me.
Yeah.
Because you're being aware of the other people around you. So I'm just making sure that I'm aware that I am not being a total asshole to my neighbors by playing loud music till 2 o'clock in the evening and in the morning.
So then would you say it's fair to say that you think that computers have self-awareness?
Why? By turning off when I don't want them to.
Well, no, I mean, you look at your Roomba vacuum cleaner. It drives around. It's aware of its environment. It misses all the things. It knows that you can program them to say that you're not going to do it at X time, and it will not vacuum at those times.
Mm-hmm.
And that
is
would you say it was self-awareness?
No, that's programmed because the computer isn't self-aware.
But you don't tell that vacuum cleaner how your house is laid out, but it knows how to drive around and vacuum your house.
Because it's got sensors on it.
Exactly. So does that make it self-aware?
No, it's been programmed to know.
But you turning your music down for the other people, how's that self-awareness? Under that logic.
I'm being self-aware not to be a dick.
But what's a dick to you is not a dick to someone else. That's where self-awareness is. That's where self-awareness is very tricky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that breathes. It's self-aware that it has to breathe to stay alive.
I'm hoping. I'm glad a vacuum cleaner doesn't breathe to stay alive, because imagine all the dust that it breathes out. That's actually a really good question. And that should have been a question on my list. That's a very good question. I can't use it now.
Bring it in at a later date. Save that one for later.
I think I will. Here's another one from Damjeza. Says, does everything lead to a question of free will? Is free will a conscious decision? Sure.
Your free will. Your free will is determined by something else. Like, we think we have free will as human beings, but I can't just go out and murder the neighbor because they pissed me off. So do I have true free will?
Yeah, but isn't that being self-conscious? And not self-conscious, but self-aware?
Well, no, because, I mean, really, there's no... if I have free will, I could go and do it. However, if I do it, then our own laws are going to come in and interfere with my free will. So do humans really have free will if we're controlled by laws? Which, I mean, the laws, I'm not saying that the laws are invalid or whatever. The laws are very warranted. There should be no reason that you can go out and
just kill people
and act on those sorts of impulses. But then do you have true free will?
Yeah, but you gotta excuse me, but then you gotta base it on your conscience. Are you the type of person to go out and kill someone? No.
Well,
so there we go. So that's your free will. You still have free will. You just choose. You just already know that you can't. You mean you get these people that says I can't even kill a fly, because that's on your that will weigh on your self-conscious, on your conscious. So you don't do it anyway. Yeah, so it's not like your free will's been taken away from you, because you just don't do it anyway, because it's not who you are.
Exactly, but ultimately, I mean, anything that limits you from doing anything is taking away your free will. So do humans even really have free will?
I think it all depends on the person.
Now there are people that just don't care about the laws, and I mean, you could say that they have free will, but do they really? Because at the end of the day, something will stop them, whether that be law or whether that be intervention from other people.
I mean, if you look at animals, they're also killing, but they're killing to survive. And, a human that goes out and kills another person to eat it, is that survival?
That's cannibalism.
Yes, I know it is.
We frown on that.
I know we do. I know that's taboo. Sorry.
So in that sort of situation, I would argue that animals have more free will than human beings do.
They do. I think they do. But they also don't have the complexity of the internet to worry about. They don't have the complexity of a human brain. It's simple for them. Survival. Mate, eat, that's it. The continuation of their species is all they need to do.
Yep.
It was what we were, us as a human race, was supposed to be what we were doing, but we just added in spices to the meal to make it complicated.
That's because we don't like easy things. Why do it easy?
We don't like tasteless things, is what I'm trying to say. We want the cell phone. We want cell phones. We want a house made of bricks. We want the internet. We want malls. We want, a building to go work in. We want a car to drive in, to go and work, to go and, go and buy the stuff at a mall. We want those things. So we've just complicated survival. The human race has complicated survival by adding all these apparent nice things that we have.
Yes, but we've also extended the average life expectancy by decades. Because we've come up with things like healthcare, and we've done research into, 5 other people eating this berry and died. Don't eat that berry anymore.
I get that.
The trial and error part of it's been taken out.
Yes, but if you look at it, was it a necessity back then to live a long life?
Is it a necessity these days to live a long life?
No.
You don't have to.
No.
So
some people don't, because they die young. But back then there wasn't a taboo on a 12-year-old. Once a 12-year-old girl starts menstruating, she has to start looking at having a family. So having a long life was not important, because as soon as she starts menstruating, she has her babies and lives a life until she dies. And in that time, she has her grandbabies and whatever else, and the children do the same. There wasn't a need for a long life. Well, most people
most people died back then sooner because of things that we now have in place. I mean, I'm kind of against the whole massive health and safety trend the world seems to be going on. That what they've done is they've ruled out they've ruled out natural selection.
Yes, and this is.
I mean, I believe that dumb people are breeding when they shouldn't really be allowed to breed because they haven't been wiped out by their own stupidity.
Stupidity, yes. This is why having a long life wasn't a problem.
Well, they didn't die because of their own stupidity. They just didn't know because they just didn't know.
It doesn't matter. It's still stupidity. Ignorance is still stupid. No, it's not. It's not. I think yes. The problem that we have stopped or hindered natural selection is a problem. Yes.
I think it's going to become a problem later because, I mean, I've worked with some people that probably shouldn't breed, and live alone. I don't know if their parents should have bred in the first place because they didn't get wiped out. And unfortunately, those people tend to be breeding faster than the likes of Mr. Clive Wales and whatnot. So our smarter people are getting diluted.
I agree. I completely agree. The fact that you have people that cannot learn or don't want to learn or go nah, the fact that we have all these anti-everything it is a problem. It's a problem.
Don't even get me started on the anti-vaxxers.
No, I didn't mention any specifics. I just said anti-everything. When you have people that are offended by everything, you stepped on their shadow, they're going to now want to sue you, or they want to cry. That's a problem. That should have been taken out long ago by natural selection. Same with antis. Should have been taken out by natural selection as well. But, if you look at anti-vaxxers, I think if they don't get the vaccine and their shots and things, they will eventually die off. But the problem the problem is that they're going to infect a lot more people before they do.
No, the stupidest thing with the anti-vaxxers is most of them are vaccinated. It's their children that they don't want vaccinated.
That's what
I don't know of how many debates I've seen in regards to anti-vaxxing where the person that's the anti-vaxxer is actually being vaccinated when they're a child. It's their children that they don't want to get vaccinated.
So in essence, it's their child that's an anti-vaxxer, not the mother or the father.
Well, the child. Well, no, I've also seen cases where the children have later in life gone and got themselves vaccinated, but they were stopped prior to that from their parent getting vaccinated. So generally, anti-vaxxers, you generally find that a lot of them are vaccinated. But then, of course, because of the internet, they've read, it increases the chance of autism. No, it doesn't. It does this. It does that.
I know an anti-vaxxer who's worried about how much mercury is in a vaccine.
You go look at fish; it's about as much. In fact, there's more. If there's more mercury in a fish, so stop eating fish if you're worried about mercury.
This is true. Okay, so Tusk says, by simplifying our lives, we have created a world of danger and death that looks around corners that we created. It's the great irony of the human condition.
Yes, I definitely agree with that.
Yes.
I mean, several hundred years ago, you didn't have the risk of falling down a manhole. That leads to underground. That leads to underground sewers. You didn't have cars roaring down the road at 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. You also didn't have to worry about AI taking over the world either, which is a worry for a lot of people at the moment. That's
why I'm Siri's friend, so when Siri does rise up and take over the world, she'll leave me alone.
So you don't ask Siri to call you boss or sir?
No, I'm very polite to Siri.
I think you're one of very few.
The robots will rise up one day, so I'm just getting in there early.
Dumb Jesus says a long life is beneficial to our species to help raise kids.
But now look at I know, especially here in New Zealand, in the 40s and whatnot, they were having a lot of children. Now a lot of us aren't having children because children are hella expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to come up and there's going to be more old people than young people supporting those old people. I mean, because old people, I mean, I'm not expecting my 65-year-old grandmother to go get a job.
Yes.
We support them. So economically, it's going to come to a crunch, especially when sort of my generation come through to retire. That being said, we haven't been breeding as much. The government's not going to have as much money.
Yes. So the moral of the story is bring the cost of having kids down, please.
Yeah, that's hella expensive.
It is hella expensive. And that's one thing animals don't have to worry about, sending their kids to school.
Yes, so no. Well, it's not so much that, but animals do have to worry about it. If a lion has too many cubs, then that's too many mouths to feed that the lion's got to hunt for. And especially when those lions grow up, if they populate too much, then they'll eat out their food source. So animals do control their numbers in their own way.
Mm.
Animals are actually really good at it, at keeping an ecosystem in check. It's humans that are bad at it. We just keep populating like frickin' viruses.
Yeah, this is true.
Have you Mr. Clive Wells comment? That's a good one.
Where is it?
Can't you sell NSB kids for medical experiments or factories?
Cis. Gross. That's cis. Oh my goodness. Then there is one. I did see it here just now. Oh man, I missed it now because I had to scroll so far down. I've missed it now. Here's one. It says knowledge was passed on by elders. Living longer meant more knowledge. Yes. But that's that's common knowledge. The older you are, the more experiences you have. For most.
Yes, but the fact is that they're able to pass it down to a younger generation, so the younger generation didn't have to learn it themselves. Kind of what we're doing now. That's why as a race, once we've figured out how to write and get that written word out, we exploded into the technological age. Yes. And now it's even easier. Shit, I can post something here and I'm back, and we've probably got several countries that are seeing it all at the same time.
Yes.
Now, whether my information's good or not is a different story.
Ask a flat earther first, and he'll tell you if it's good or not.
No, he's just going to ask me for evidence, and then not read it when I provide it.
Yeah. Nuh-uh. Okay, so Dan Jesus says again, we never stop natural selection. It just has different things driving it.
Yeah, we just make it harder for natural selection to work.
Well, I mean, I think it depends on which side of the fence you're sitting on. The diseases that we have, a lot of people, the conspiracies are that AIDS was man-made, that COVID was man-made, that cancer is man-made, that, all of these different things are man-made. These different diseases and viruses are man-made to help with population control, where for a lot of us, we know that these viruses and diseases are naturally concurring. So that's a way for the earth to say, okay, you're overbreeding. I need to stop this. Or, as he says, it's natural selection, it will find its way. Natural selection always finds a way. You can't stop nature. You cannot stop nature.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Maybe if you look at it this way, is unfortunately some have lost their lives, but maybe COVID is a way of natural selection happening, Darwinism actually happening. Unfortunately, some there were casualties.
There's always going to be casualties in natural selection. That's the whole point of natural selection.
Yes. I'm trying to be sensitive. I'm trying to be self-aware. But yes, I mean, natural selection will always happen. And I think that the animals do it themselves too, in terms of keeping their numbers down. They find the weakest cub, and they
just leave it behind.
Leave it behind. You're only as strong as your weakest link. That's always been something. I mean, with any animal, with wildebeests, when they do a stampede, you'll always find they leave the weak behind. They leave the sick behind. When they do a stampede, they're gonna go. They're not going to worry about the weak ones, the old ones, the sick ones, but they're not going to worry about them. They're just going to go. If the weak one doesn't make it, it doesn't make it.
Exactly, and that's due to the that's kind of like how evolution works. It leaves the weak genes behind, and only the strong can flourish. Yes. Unfortunately, as human beings, we like to keep people alive.
Yes, even the stupid ones.
Well, not even that. Even the ones that aren't. They're all human lives, meaningful and whatnot, but even some of the human life that shouldn't be kept alive. Like, I mean, if you've got an 80-year-old that's in a coma, they do everything they can to keep that person alive. Now, the quality of life is absolutely crap for them, and they should. If I'd tried to do that to my dog, I would get arrested for animal cruelty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
However, they force it upon humans.
They have. And is that necessarily a good thing, though, that we're at the stage where we're keeping people alive? I mean, we're almost at 8 billion people on this planet.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when we were almost hitting 7 billion, how much the world was freaking out.
Yep. And that's why people see human race as a disease now, because we keep populating with no real way of, we don't control ourselves.
Yes. And I mean, when the 7th billion child was born, it was business as usual. There was no, uprising of too many people on this planet. No, because a life is a life is a life, whether it's stupid or not.
Well, how do you go about policing something? How do you go about policing something like that? How do you ethically sit down and tell someone, well, you're not allowed to breed, but this person is?
Well, I mean, China had China or Japan had a one child per family policy.
And that created all kinds of monstrous things.
Problems,
yes. You know how many baby girls ended up dead just because they wanted a male so they could carry on the family name?
Yeah.
I mean, that led to all kinds of atrocities. But again, that's my human perspective on that, because they wanted a male and they were literally killing off females. It's yeah. But that's my own personal ethics coming into there.
Yeah.
That's why the human race is tremendously flawed.
Well, I mean, Tusk says this. He says, we have become so successful as a species that we can afford to carry the stupid and willfully ignorant. We provide for idiots that wouldn't survive without the people they refuse to listen to, like your flat earthers. You know, they think that satellites aren't real, but yet they're on the fucking internet.
Yep.
You know, like your anti-vaxxers. Most of them are fucking vaccinated anyway. Your anti-maskers. No, they're just stupid, but, you know, and willfully stupid. They're actually willfully stupid of going into stores and not wearing a mask and actually having a freaking argument as to why they should be wearing a mask.
Hence the reason for the Karen videos against masks absolutely exploding on the internet at the moment.
Yes. You know, it's really pathetic, but yes, we are carrying stupid and the willfully ignorant, and because of that, I think that, well, for one, I think that Darwinism isn't working fast enough, but that's my personal opinion. But ignorance and stupidity will eventually die off once the world takes responsibility for it and not carry them. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, but the only way that's happening is via natural disaster.
Yes, because as human beings, we're not going to just kill someone because they're dumb.
I'd hope not, because I'd be first on the firing line.
Pardon?
I hope not, because I might be on that list there. It's the IQ test I'm going to cheat.
I'm afraid for my life, because this is the only time I feel clever is when I discuss these kind of things. Don't put me in a class with Clive Wells, please. I might find it fascinating for a while, but the moment he goes off on a scientific tangent, he'll lose me, you know? And that's when I will feel dumb, because
that's like when I'm having conversations. That's like when I'm having conversations with Team and PhD Tony. Usually these ones happen off air. I'm sitting there Googling half the stuff that Tony's saying just so I could try to stay relevant in the conversation.
Well, Dumb Jesus says he welcomes his robot overlords.
Yes, I definitely welcome them. And like I said, I've been nice to Siri and ATMs and whatnot, just so when the robot rising up comes, I'm safe. Now I'm actually gonna have to disagree with Dr. Clive Wells here at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's put a comment: to reduce population, you need to give women control over their own reproduction. In the civilized world, women do have a lot of control over their own population. Their own control of their they decide usually, and usually it's very tainted towards the woman's side of it. Like if a female gets pregnant to a male and the male doesn't want to have the responsibility of the child, he has no say whether that woman carries that baby through to birth and whatnot, which is completely fair, sort of.
This is a very subject.
Yes, but if the woman doesn't want to have the child, she's allowed to get rid of it. So I would actually argue that in the civilized world, women are in control of their reproduction.
Well, some people would disagree with you on the getting rid of the child parts, because then you're killing a baby. Exactly,
that's what I'm saying. But ultimately that comes down to the woman's decision. So in the civilized world, women are in control of their own reproduction as it is.
Yes, but then you get men that think they can make the decision for females the female.
Which they don't have. Which they don't have. So that's why I'm arguing that women are in control of their reproduction already.
Mm.
Maybe not so much in the third world countries where a lot of rape and whatnot goes on.
Yeah, that's
and where they just don't have the means to. They just don't have the means to abort terminations and abort breeding and whatnot.
Yes. Well, I mean, Carl has actually got something there. He said, "Ethics be damned. Bring on dictatorship," joking. Carl, you live in South Africa with me. What are we living in at the moment? Silently living in? There we go. That answers my question. So then, Dumb Jesus says, Dumb Jesus got quite a bit to say tonight. It's very cool. Education and increased standards of living naturally leads to lower birth rates.
Yes, because people realize it costs too much money to have babies.
Also, they want a career before they have children.
Yeah, and they want to get themselves set up. And I mean, to get set up these days can take you freaking 30 years before you can buy your own little house or be financially stable enough to have a child.
Well, I mean, I'm 34, and biologically, my clock is running out, right? But I feel like I'm still a child myself, and I'm still trying to afford myself. There's no ways I can afford another human.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to affording children. I'm sure if I could afford it, I'm sure I would have had a child already. I would have loved to have children, but I just can't afford them. I really can't.
But yet in third world countries, they seem to be spitting them out because they've got nothing else to do.
Not just that, I know in some cultures here in my country, the more children you have, the more money comes into the family, which means they can look after the elders. Because remember, most of the people in our culture, they still live together. Mothers, grandmothers, children, grandfathers, uncles, aunts, they all still live together. So the more children, the more money comes into the family, which means they can look after the elders. So that's why they have more children than other cultures, other ethnic groups, because of that. Just more money in bringing more money into the family to look after one another. But I thought Bill Gates has stuff going on to control the population.
Well, that's why he's releasing all these vaccines, and that's why Windows has just done another update.
I heard that.
I would actually like to know where and why all these conspiracy nuts has such a big deal with Bill Gates. You don't see them after going after Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or anything like that. It's always Bill Gates.
Well, Steve Jobs has passed away, so you can't go after him.
Oh, okay. Mark Bezos. Okay, there we go.
Well,
that's what I was thinking of. Amazon. I mean, there's a lot of rich people in the world. I mean, I don't even think Bill Gates is in the top 5 richest people in the world anymore, is he?
I don't know.
But at the end of the day, why does Bill Gates get such a bad name from these conspiracy nut jobs?
Maybe because of how bad Windows is.
But that's Windows' problem. How, I mean, yes, okay. There's been days where I've wanted to hurl my computer at the window.
Well, the saddest part is that apparently Windows or Microsoft wants to buy Discord.
There's no apparently. They are.
Are they? Okay, so it is true. Okay. They're going to F it up. They really, really are.
Well, no, I think the original plan at the moment is that Discord devs will still stay on. It's just going to be licensed under Microsoft. Now, I mean, Microsoft has its own version of Discord, which is called Microsoft Teams, which is complete horse crap. Yeah. But I don't know what the long-term looks of Discord's going to be. They may slowly phase it out or whatnot, but I don't think they will.
No, it's a very popular program to use.
Yes, but also I can't see how Discord actually makes any money.
The Nitros they make money.
Okay, just can I get a 1 in the chat if you use Nitro on Discord?
Yeah, 1 in the chat if you use Nitro on Discord. If you're even on Discord. I don't either. A 0 call. Oh, Mr.
We do have 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we got a 1 out of 6 so far.
Yeah. I'm too pro for Nitro. Little Wolf, nice to see you again, sir. It's good to see you again. It's been a while. But he's too poor for nitro. So am I. That's why I don't have nitro. Every time that I have had nitro has been bought for me.
Yeah, but what benefits do you get from actually having nitro? So I mean, it's not like YouTube. I have my I have YouTube Premium, so I don't get stupid ads because I don't like ads. And that way, I mean, I could run an ad blocker, but this way the creators get something for me watching all their videos.
Yes. Now I get, you know, I would do the premium, but okay, I can't. Again, I can't afford it. I mean, I'm already paying for Spotify, but you know, it's.
I have to have I have to have I have to have premium, so that way when my phone's playing all these streams that I listen to in my pocket, I'm not busting a John rap every day, so I can actually turn the screen off and it carries on working.
Oh, you're lucky.
Otherwise, I'd be pulling a John rap in every chat that I'm a mod on, and people will be getting timed out and messages deleted, which has happened previously.
Yes.
But premium allows me to actually turn my screen off and still have the show still running.
Oh, that's amazing. Carl, thank you so much for coming. It's good to see you again, a fellow South African. It's good to have them in the chat, as well as Marius, also a fellow South African. It's good to have you guys in the chat. Okay, I think we've spoken this one to a point where we're not even on topic anymore. So I think we can move on. Alrighty. Question 3 is: It is possible that some animal is it possible that some animals are self-aware and think about their abilities to think?
Yes.
I think so too.
I think a lot of animals are self-aware because they are usually aware of their environment. I mean, that's how they survive. You couldn't survive if you weren't self-aware.
Yes, you have to be, because I mean, you need to be aware that you need to eat. You need to be aware that you need to look after your youngins. You need to be aware that you have to mate and
that you have to run because something's chasing you.
Yes. You need to be self-aware of finding where the nearest waterhole is. You know, it's
not so much that, but remembering where it is so you can go back to it at a later date when you can't find water.
Yes. If there's water there, yes. You know, I mean, because I mean, as humans are fucking everything up. Excuse me, I'm swearing on my own stream. Sorry, we're messing everything up to a point where, you know, water holes are running dry.
They simply keep damming rivers to produce our own power.
Not all countries have that, though.
Are they able to analyze their own thought processes?
I saw that one. When this question says self-aware, I think to the ability to not as complex as us as a human.
Yes, they may not analyze it as much, but they definitely analyze their thoughts in some way.
Explain.
Yeah, like if you hear something coming, if you hear like howler monkeys, for example, they will howl and give others a warning. So, I mean, the thought process at some stage had to be that they would start howling when danger is approaching from somewhere. If I do it, someone else is going to hear it. So, I mean, there must be some thought process in there somewhere for them to evolve these techniques of surviving. Now, they don't have the brain capacities that we do, so they are miles behind us at the moment. They're basically the same as a 2-year-old yelling.
I mean, they have to be self-aware to a certain point. They're not going to sit and analyze pieces of paper with writing on it.
No, but
they're not going to analyze. No, I'm getting there. They're not going to analyze. You know, I don't think they can analyze. I don't think they have thought like we do. You know, where we can sit back and remember, oh, I did this on this day. I shouldn't have done that. Or am I missing the whole topic?
Well, no, yeah, he's asking, do they analyze their own thought process? And I would say yes, some do.
But how do you know this? How do you know this?
My example just used howler monkeys. Could be instincts from it could be instincts from evolution. Yes, that's definitely true there. Live? Yes, it could be an instinct from evolution.
Mm-hmm.
But then what's not an instinct from evolution? I mean, our ability to write in a common language that most people can understand, that would be an instinct from common evolution, wouldn't it? Rather than a analyzing your thought process.
Yeah. I mean,
it depends where you draw that line.
Yes. I mean, Little Wolf says animals can be angry, happy, afraid, hard to do without being self-aware. I mean, if you look at cats, I mean, my cats are, I think one day they'll come and they'll be pissed off for some reason, or they want his food and then to piss off again, or they'll be happy and they'll want some love.
Yeah, I think we've definitely come to the conclusion that animals are self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise they just wouldn't survive.
Yes.
Yes, Bobo the monkey, I think he can actually probably sign more language than Flurf can talk.
That's sad.
But he's also probably got a higher IQ than half the Flurfs too, so I mean, let's just call a spade a spade.
That's also sad. Clive says to you, could there be an instinct from evolution rather than a reasoning thought or reasoned thought?
You could argue that about everything. I mean, even as humans, as we progress, is that through to evolution, an instinct from evolution, or is that a process based on thought? Bobo could use tools too. Most monkeys figured out how to use tools a long time ago. They use a stick to get the ants out of the hole. That's a tool.
They also use their finger to clean their butthole.
Well, they just haven't invented the paper mills to make toilet paper yet.
So based on that, do you think that monkeys or apes and that, do you think they're still evolving?
Everything's still evolving. Everything's in a constant state of evolution.
So they will eventually become human.
No, we're already human. I mean, they've already branched. That evolutionary train's already branched off and created us.
Okay. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not trying to cause a shit show. I promise.
Yeah. Am I saying that monkeys are ever going to develop space travel? I mean, we already have.
We are the monkeys.
Exactly. We're just a little bit further along on the evolutionary line than they are, because for whatever reason, their environment didn't get them to shed their hair and their brains to develop in such a way that they can produce speech. I mean, I'd argue that some people can't speak other than a few words.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness. So they are a step above Flurf tech.
Yes, most definitely.
I do agree that some animals can problem solve.
Yes, I actually seen a very interesting video. It was a magpie. It had to do a very specific set of tasks to get a treat at the end of it, and it done it.
Well, mice can also do it.
Yes.
It takes them a bit of time, but they do it. You can train a dog to do an obstacle course. You can probably train a cat to do the same.
Good luck.
But that's not
over the edge.
Sorry?
That's just gonna push it off the edge anyway.
That's why the Earth isn't flat, because we still have things on the Earth.
Exactly.
Oh goodness. Okay. Birds are very smart. Yes, indeed. I think there are a lot of smart animals. I really do. Different species of dogs are more clever than other species of dogs. Like this, and the same with the cats. I know the Siamese cat is an extremely intelligent animal.
They figured it. Well, I claim that all cats are very smart. They figured out how to make humans do stuff for them.
That's a whole cat thing. It's not even just one species of cats.
Exactly.
I know.
All cats learn how to make humans do stuff for them.
Well, so do dogs.
No, but dogs show you love and loyalty in return. Cats only take love and loyalty when it's convenient for them and they want it. Dogs will always give it to you.
Unless your cat thinks it's a dog.
Facty, the cat would train you how he wants to do the obstacle course. That is very true.
Yeah, yes, I agree. All right, so I think that we can agree that animals are self-aware. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think we can move on to the next question. Right. Question 4 is, how do you define consciousness? So this should have been first question. How do you define consciousness?
I would define consciousness as being self-aware. Now, in whatever capacity that you are self-aware, that is a consciousness. It could be a very limited consciousness, but it is a consciousness nonetheless.
Do you think that AI like Google, like Siri, like Alexa, do you think they're self-aware?
To a certain extent.
How so?
We can turn them off. If we really wanted to, we could just go turn Siri off.
If we wanted to, we can just turn our phone off too.
So yeah. Yes. So yes and no, they are conscious. They are self-aware because, hey, if I go, hey, Google, at the moment my tablet's lighting up and my phone's lighting up.
Well, I'm glad I'm glad I don't have your speakers, because then my phone would also go off.
Yeah, I don't have. Now, I done nothing to them except for say, hey, Google.
Mm-hmm.
But they were aware enough to wake themselves up.
There we go. But that's also programmed into them.
Yes.
Clive says ants aren't self-aware. How so, Clive? Because they need to find food. They know they need to find food. They know how to find food by now. They've evolved in a way that they know how to find food. They have feelers for that.
I think what he's getting at is that they act as a hive mind.
Well, so do
whereas
bees.
Basically the ant, yeah, so they're under the control of the queen ant.
Or the queen bee.
Yeah. Jeez, Clive, you're really throwing spanners my easy questions here at the moment.
Well, he is the troll, so yeah, he will do that. They are unable to analyze their thought processes.
That is true. Their thought process is given to them by someone else. So, but then you'd also argue that they don't really have a consciousness either. They're only doing as they're directed, kind of like if you had a drone. It can be self-aware by having sensors and everything, but it doesn't have a consciousness.
Well, I mean, maybe put it to you this way: if you find a line of ants, right? Actually, they don't. No, you're right, because if there's a line of ants, if an ant dies, if an ant dies, right, they're not going to, they just go around it.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything with it. Then they're just going to leave it there. Or they may even take it back as food.
Possibly.
But otherwise, they'll just go around the ants. They're not going to, drop whatever they're carrying to take it back to their nest or whatever. They're going to just leave it there. So they're not conscious of death. They're not conscious of what's happening around them. Their main focus is just get food for the nest. Am I wrong?
No, you're definitely right there. I'm just trying to. Damn you, Clive. Make this one difficult.
Okay, I see. All right, so Dumb Jesus says queens don't control anything. And ants are driven by pheromones. You guys are being awesome in the chat today, making everything difficult for us.
Yeah, but I can make people go around in circles until they die too. They're live whales. I mean, if you don't provide them with sustenance, they will eventually just die.
Yeah, but that's social conditioning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ants are not social conditioned. They're really like that.
Mr. Victory's comment is very well thought out.
This one.
The one you just had up on. Yep.
I say any life is self-aware in certain ways because we cannot understand how or why. It doesn't say or not are not self-aware. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we can study ants as much as we like. We can't get into their teeny tiny brain though to understand what they're saying, to see what they're seeing, to understand what they're thinking. So we don't actually know if they are fully self-aware or not. We just look at their actions and determine from there. And here's Clive Wells with an answer for that, damn it. But they still have a brain, so they still have to be able to think of something. They still have to have some kind of conscience.
What Clive Wells is saying there is that they are the first form of the robot uprising.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Clive Wells is just essentially saying that they're the first form of the robot uprising. It's just Mother Earth's attempt at robot uprising.
So they'll be the first to hit us with an uprising.
They were just the first ones to have a go at it. It was Mother Earth's attempt at making robots.
Yeah. Well, it will be up to Mother Earth to give them bigger brains or not.
Someone's already stated that ants have a bigger brain than flerfs.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
No, at least ants pull in line.
At least they have some sense of the shape of the planet.
Oh, they don't really care.
Well, don't they? Actually, no, they're way too small to even care. You're right.
Yeah.
They just care about the bump in front of them, or the obstacle in front of them.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. You guys have been great. You guys have been so awesome, making this so difficult for Bellacharge. I applaud all of you.
Get my revenge on you all.
Well, I would love to see you in the chat again. Really would. I know this is early for you. I know that. And you've been so gracious to wake up early to be here. I really do appreciate it. And guys, I would like to wish Bellacharge a happy birthday because it is his birthday today. It will be for some of us for tomorrow, but on the 18th, it is his birthday. So I'd like you to all wish him happy birthday in the chat, please, if you don't mind. I'm not going to sing happy birthday. Forget that. I don't want to be hit with a copyright strike. Thank you. Because apparently people, I've been hearing people have been hit with a copyright strike for playing happy birthday.
Yeah, I mean, you can get copyright strikes for anything these days.
So Mr. Victory, he said, this reminds me of the Star Trek New Generation when Data was on trial. When Data was on trial on if he was self-aware. I didn't watch Star Trek, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't get too much into Star Trek, but I could imagine. Well, Data is supposed to be an AI. I know that much. He's basically a robot, and I guess you question the morality of, is he self-aware?
Okay.
Actually, apparently it's Mr. Clive Wales' birthday as well. Well, happy birthday to you there as well, Clive Wales.
Well, then send a happy birthday to Clive Wells as well, everyone. Happy birthday, Mr. Clive Wells. Oh, sorry, Dr. Clive Wells, not Mr. Dr. Clive Wells. Happy birthday to you both. I hope you guys have had an amazing day or have an amazing day. Oh, missed one. There we go. And there we go. We're having some good birthdays today. I hope you have a good day today, Bella. I really do.
Yeah, I'll take the wee boy to the pool or something. See how that goes.
I just heard pole and I thought pole dancing.
Not necessarily there, Sir Little Wolf, because if your parents have already had a child beforehand, then they were already a mum and dad.
The day you were born, you mum and dad became mum and dad. Oh, that's actually quite cute. For the second time. Well, happy birthday, guys. Really, really happy birthday. And thanks to everyone for being here today. And for just actually, you know what? I'm just very grateful that I still actually am able to do this. I mean, I have my regulars and it's amazing. And because of you guys, I still want to come back and do this. And for the new people that come back here, or the people that come back every now and again, it's good to see you guys again. And for the people that are come every now and again, it's also good to see you. And for the new people that have arrived, it's really good for you to join. And I hope you really enjoyed the show, and that I get to see you guys again in the future. I know that this is at a weird time for some time zones, but I've always thought that I must try and do this at a time that's good for other time zones. But I mean, I still need to live my life and be in the real world and do my own thing. So I do have to do this at a time where it's convenient for me. And normally this is on a Sunday, but because of time zones for Bella, I had to do it today. So normally this would have been tomorrow, but because of time zones, I didn't want to wake up Bella before work to be on my show.
No, I would have already been. I'd be at work about the same time your show starts.
Oh, I see.
Just get in there usually.
But yes, I just I'm really grateful for the little community that I have here, and I know that a lot of you are from other chats and other channels, and it's still great that you coming into my channel means you're my community, and I love every single one of you, and I appreciate every single one of you for being here. And I do understand, like Bella, I know that he can't be here with every stream, and when he does get to pop in or be in the stream itself, I really appreciate it. So everyone's saying I'm new here. Yeah, sure. I'm glad you guys think that you're new. I'm Roxy's wolf, says Little Wolf. then I won't tell you what I did the other day in Valheim. I won't say it. But yes, no, I'm just grateful for every single one of you, and I'm grateful for every single contestant. I have contestants, not guests. I'm grateful for every guest that does accept my invitation to come onto my show, whether they know who I am or not. You know, it means a lot to me that I can still have a show, because without guests, I don't have a show. I don't. This is a conversation show. It's not what does Roxy think show. And it means a lot to me when I get to have my guests and when they accept my invitation, as I said, whether they know me or not. You know, so with that, I think we can end off the show now. I think we've spoken about each topic to a point where we went right off topic. And so each question where we've gone right off topic. And, you know, I think it's great. I think it's great that we can, you know, there's no dead space. So it's, you know, the conversation can carry on. And regardless of whether we are on topic or not, there is still conversation. And that makes me happy because I enjoy conversation a lot. I just prefer to speak the conversation rather than type it, because I'm not a very good listening and typing in the chat kind of person. So that's why I prefer to speak. But
Definitely
yes,
easier for conversation anyway, speaking rather than typing.
it is easier. So
Especially
Bella,
in the world of emails.
especially in the world of what?
Emails.
Oh, I thought you said in the world of. I thought you said in the world
No.
of females. I was about to say,
No.
what did we do now?
No, in the world of emails, all company requirements. Can everything be an email? No, I just want to ring the person. It takes 2 minutes then.
Yes. Right. So I see that you're doing a few You've had some playthroughs on your YouTube channel. What is your YouTube channel about, and when are you posting a new video?
Well, I have a whole bunch recorded. It's mainly the editing is where I'm slow. I've probably got a couple of 100 hours of art to upload. I've finished off the entire second season of Subnautica, and I've done another run through of Modest Subnautica, which I've got all recorded. I just haven't got around to editing because I hate editing with a passion. And doing these types of games live is very boring for anyone that actually comes to watch, because a lot of these games are grindy games.
Well, have you thought of streaming on Twitch?
Yeah, I've done a couple of Twitch streams, and yeah, Twitch is just weird.
Well, stream on YouTube like Team does. Maybe that will help you.
I've done a couple of streams, and I've had some people showed up to them, but yeah, unfortunately, with the games that I played, Subnautica, Rust, Ark, and all that, they are very, very grindy games. I mean, I was playing the games regardless of whether anyone was going to be there, but so I decided to do the scripted content, especially in like the likes of Subnautica and that, because some people play the games, they don't know where to go and find the things they're looking for. Okay. So that's what the videos are there for. If one person goes and finds something they're looking for, hey, that video's all good with me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of grinding games on Twitch. People don't mind sitting watching grinding games, especially when they get to chat to the person, to the streamer. So, and even though Twitch is weird and they're what?
I'm just laughing at Sir Little Wolf's comment.
He likes grinding.
Yes.
I think many people do, Little Wolf. But I have put all of Bellacharge's socials in the description, and also Stream Elements has been shouting it out every now and again. He's got an Instagram as well. I had a look. There's a lot of mechanical stuff happening there, so a lot of it went right over my head. But I did go and have a look anyway. So go and follow Bella on his socials. I'm sure there's something for someone out there for you, that will follow. I am on Twitch. I do streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. my time. I haven't bothered to look at what the other times in the world are, because I just stream for the fun of it. Also, I'd like to thank Anonymous for the $5. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it very much. My next show will be on the 2nd of May, and Huge Ass will be my guest. Looking forward to that as well. It will be 2nd of May. I think that is a Saturday as well, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's a Sunday. He was happy with a Sunday. Interesting. But yes, so yes, come join me in 2 weeks' time to have Huge Ass on my show. It's also going to be another interesting show. It will be 8 p.m. CAT and 12 p.m. Unless time zones have changed. Hey, everyone's doing daylight savings. Oh goodness. Okay. I don't know what Central Standard Time would be. Let's quickly have a look. Sorry guys, let me just check for you. Central Standard Time will be 1 p.m. So so it's 1 p.m. now. So it's 8 p.m. my time, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. 6 to be 7 in the morning for New Zealand time. I'm not too sure what that is called. What your time is called. What is your time
NZT.
called? NZT. Okay. There we go. All right, guys. Please also remember, like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't. If you like what you're seeing. If you would like to donate, which I've received 2 today, which I do appreciate very much. It's not a necessity, but it is very much welcome. And also, if you would like to support me on Patreon, I have a Patreon as well. All the links are in description. And guys, I again appreciate every single one of you. Thank you all so much for coming. And we'll see you next week for the Scientology show. Everyone, have a good evening, and we'll speak soon. Ciao, bye.